My wife called me at 1:30 p.m. "Tonight, you can join my brother's fiance's family for dinner, but keep your mouth shut." I asked why. She snapped, "Her dad's a judge. Don't embarrass us like you always do." I smiled. "Got it. I have been saying got it for 11 years. Every dinner, every gathering, every time she steers me toward the quiet end of the table and gives me the look that means stay small tonight. I say got it. I sit down. I eat my food. I do not embarrass anyone." She introduced me to her coworkers last spring as my husband. He does contracting work. Said it the way you'd mention a minor inconvenience, like the parking was difficult. I shook hands with people who forgot my name before they sat back down, and I smiled the whole time because that is what I do. What I actually do is build things. I have been building things since I was 19, working summers for my uncle's crew, learning to read a structural blueprint before I could read a lease. By 24, I had my license. By 30, I had a small crew. By 38, I had a company with 41 employees and a reputation in the city that had nothing to do with my wife's dinner circuit. She didn't know the scope of it. I never hit it exactly. The contracts were filed. The company name was on a sign outside my office she drove past twice a week. But she processes the world through social currency, and contracting didn't spend well at the tables she cared about. So she summarized me into something smaller. I let her. That part is on me. Her brother Lawson had been dating Sybil for 8 months. Her father was Judge Richard Carver, federal bench, 22 years. Lawson was a financial advisor trying to climb into a different tax bracket through proximity, and this dinner was part of that effort. The whole evening was theater. I understood that before I put on the jacket. The restaurant was a private club on the west side. Dark wood, low lighting, menus with no prices. Lawson arranged the seating. I was placed at the far end of the table between Sybil's teenage sister, who was on her phone the entire night, and a family friend whose name I lost immediately. Lawson sat next to the judge. My wife sat next to Lawson. The power end. I was the furniture end. Dinner moved the way those dinners move. Lawson performed. My wife laughed at the right moments. The judge was quiet, in the way powerful people are quiet. Not withdrawn, just conserving. He spoke when it mattered and listened the rest of the time. He also kept glancing at me, not obviously. The specific focus of a man trying to place something he already knows. 3 years ago, the federal courthouse on 5th Street took flood damage. The city put the restoration contract out to bid. My company won it. 14 months. Structural reinforcement. Full electrical rebuild. Mechanical systems. When it was finished, the city held a small ceremony. The judge presided. He shook hands with the project leads. I was one of them. He looked me in the eye and said, "This building matters to this city, and so does the work you did on it." I had not forgotten that. I assumed he had. After the main plates were cleared, Judge Carver stood for a toast, walked around the table slowly, stopped at Lawson, stopped at Sybil, stopped at my wife, then reached me. The social expression dropped off his face. Not cold, just genuine. Like the performance came down, and what replaced it was recognition. "Hello, I'm surprised to see you here." The table went the wrong kind of still. "Do they know who you really are?" My wife laughed, the nervous version. "He's in contracting," she said. The judge didn't turn toward her. Stayed on me. "Contracting. Is that what we're calling it?" He set his glass down. "This man rebuilt the federal courthouse on 5th after the flood. The city engineering department called it one of the cleanest, large-scale restorations they'd reviewed in 15 years. I presented him a commendation in the atrium when the work was finished. I signed it myself." Lawson stopped cutting his food. "I've shaken your hand twice at City Hall. Both times in rooms your wife has never been in." Silence. My wife turned to me slowly. The way you turn when you're hoping the angle makes the information look different. I picked up my water glass, took a sip. "You told me to keep my mouth shut," I said. So I did. She had nothing. First time in 11 years I could remember her without a response ready. Lawson said my name. Just my name. Nothing after it. Like he was testing whether I was still the same person he thought I was an hour ago. I didn't perform anything after that. I finished my water, and I sat with the quiet I had been sitting with for 11 years. Except this time it wasn't the quiet of a man making himself small. On the drive home, she was silent for 9 minutes. I watched the clock. Then, "Why didn't you tell me?" "I kept my eyes on the road." "You never asked," I said, "and you told me to keep my mouth shut."